Hurricane Katrina, winds over 165 miles an hour, projected to be one of the most powerful storms ever to hit the United States. Impact: New Orleans under orders to evacuate as the Category 5 storm aims for the Gulf Coast, with fears oil prices could soar. The future of Iraq. Voters in that country will decide on a new constitution. The Sunnis say no. President Bush warns of more violence. And one family's miracle, a plane crash that kills dozens, but one whole family survives.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with John Seigenthaler.
Good evening, everyone. Hurricane Katrina is about to unleash her fury on the Gulf Coast tonight. It could be one of the worst storms ever to hit the U.S. The first bands of Katrina are now blowing through the southern Louisiana as the hurricane continues on its course toward New Orleans. It is a dangerous Category 5 storm with winds clocked at over 160 miles an hour. More than 1 million people have been ordered to leave their homes. We'll have reports from Houma, Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, and we'll take a look at the track of this storm and the impact it could have on oil and gasoline prices. But we begin with what appears to be ground zero, New Orleans tonight. That's where NBC's Martin Savage is. Good evening, Martin.
Good evening, John. We are located outside one of the city's main shelters where the line to get in is still very long. A curfew has gone into effect. It will run from dusk until dawn. And many here tonight are wondering what that dawn will bring.
For the city of New Orleans, it is the doomsday scenario. Katrina is the storm city officials always feared was out there, but prayed would never strike.
God bless us.
The mayor of New Orleans declared a mandatory evacuation.
This is very serious, and it's of the highest nature, and that's why we're taking this unprecedented move.
A move backed up today by President Bush.
We cannot stress enough the danger this hurricane poses to Gulf Coast communities. I urge all citizens to put their own safety and the safety of their families first by moving to safe ground.
The president of neighboring Jefferson Parish put it more bluntly.
Literally, you're looking at martial law at the podium right now.
That put the Big Easy in a big hurry to go.
We're going east because everyone else is going west.
But in most places, the going was tough as highways clogged. Downtown streets had a different traffic. Bianca Brusau is from San Francisco and desperately looking for a hotel.
We're gonna go stay with my sister so we could all be together.
They are among the lucky ones. Most hotels are sold out. For others, rooms are unaffordable and leaving impossible.
I can't get out. How am I gonna get out?
New Orleans' famous Superdome was dubbed the city's shelter of last resort. And judging by the line to get in, many believed it. With good reason. The waterways where New Orleans has worked and played for centuries now threaten the city from nearly all sides, poised to drown it in what officials call a toxic gumbo.
All of the toxins around the area, all of the toxins that are under your kitchen sink.
Katrina's even ended the party on Bourbon Street as bars and businesses shut down and board up. For many, that alone sent a more chilling message than the words of any city official.
When the French Quarter shut down like it is, everybody's concerned.
And you're looking at the fortunate people right now. They're at the head of the line to get in here at the Superdome. The Superdome's been open since almost noon. Here it is many hours later. The line at one point stretched all the way down the street. They've moved people at least undercover here. But there is still a long line that wraps almost all the way around the facility of people trying to get in. 30,000 inside already. John?
NBC's Martin Savage in New Orleans. Martin, thank you. Just southwest of New Orleans is the town of Houma, where many residents have decided to ride out this hurricane. NBC's Don Teague is there for us tonight. Don?
Good evening, John. As you can tell by those shrimp boats behind me, this town is dangerously close to the Gulf of Mexico. The boats are here looking for safe harbor, but tonight there are no guarantees. Some 50 miles from the congestion and chaos of New Orleans, residents of the bayou town of Houma, Louisiana, are quietly preparing for the worst. Those who could left this shrimping community by late morning. The nursing home was evacuated hours ago.
We're trying to get these people out of harm's way and get them to a safe place.
It's scary.
But many here, like Donna Lowry, say they can't afford to leave. She'll ride out the storm on a shrimp boat crammed into Homa's tiny canal. Her 3-year-old daughter and her boyfriend, who works on the boat, by her side.
I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. I know it's probably going to be bad.
Come on. Just 2 blocks away, brothers Stan and Kent Jarbo will make their stand in a home that used to belong to their grandmother.
Move it some more.
It's old, but has withstood decades of storms. They're bringing family and friends here mainly because the county's hospital is across the street.
If anything, gets really bad, I can go right here to the hospital. Hopefully it's not going to be that bad, but you never know.
Well, they know all about the danger of hurricanes here. They have lived through plenty of them, but everyone I spoke with in this area today says they expect this storm to be the worst in their lifetimes. John?
NBC's Don Teague. Don, thank you. What a difference a day makes in Mobile, Alabama, where many residents there were expecting to be spared Katrina's wrath. But tonight, there are serious concerns about flooding. NBC's Ron Mott is there tonight.
Good evening, John. Here in Mobile, they are bracing for Category 1 winds when Katrina arrives at 75 to 80 miles an hour. But the real fear here is the potential storm surge. From wait and see yesterday to duck and cover today.
This is not a joke. This is for real.
Hurricane Katrina now has the undivided attention of Alabamans along the Gulf Coast, where the water is already splashing and rising on Dauphin Island.
We need to go on and get down here and get it boarded so we can get out of here before the roads close.
Running out of time, the clamor to flee grows louder.
There's going to be an impact in Mobile County, a possible Category 4 to 5 surge.
A surge, officials say, that could reach 15 to 20 feet, potentially flooding downtown Mobile for several square miles.
So this is a very large circumstance. It's a very serious issue.
Back on Dauphin, residents prepare to get out, uncertain of the future, worried the island itself might be history.
We've been down here for over 35 years, and I just don't think we're going to have an island. It's just such a treasure, but I don't think we're going to have it.
One emergency official here says the area could be in for an even bigger blow if this unpredictable storm moves from its current track and heads toward the east. John?
NBC's Ron Mott in Mobile. Ron, thank you. Now to the path of the storm. We turn to NBC Weather Plus meteorologist Bill Cairns. Bill, what's the latest?
Well, John, Katrina has made her northward turn towards Mississippi and Louisiana. We expect Katrina's hurricane-force winds to reach the coast after midnight in New Orleans around sunrise. Take a look at the current path, and you can see the storm on its northward approach first affecting land areas by about 5 a.m. along the delta of Louisiana. Then heading up near New Orleans, the worst of the weather there as we go through the noon hour, and then heading into Mississippi still as a Category 4 hurricane. On the radar screen, you can clearly see the eye of the storm there at the very bottom. By tomorrow morning, this eye will be dangerously close to land. And we still expect this storm to be a Category 5 or strong Category 4 strength when it makes landfall. John?
Bill Cairns. Bill, thank you. Now, the Gulf of Mexico is an area crucial to this country's oil production. In early Monday morning trading overseas, the cost of crude oil jumped to more than $70. More now from NBC's Rosalind Jordan.
Oil workers in the Gulf of Mexico off the job for their own safety tonight as Hurricane Katrina moves in. But no shelter for what the mayor of New Orleans is calling one of his city's most important businesses.
We probably produce about 25% to 30% of the nation's domestic oil. If we get shut down with this hurricane, that's going to impact the price of oil significantly.
Energy analysts agree. In early trading in Asia, the price of a barrel of oil has already zoomed past $70, well above Friday's close of $66.
$80 to fill up my truck.
What could that spike mean for consumers, already paying record gasoline prices? NBC Global Energy analyst Daniel Yergin.
Hurricane Katrina could add another 20 to 30 cents to a cost of gasoline in this country.
And Yergin says if Katrina causes considerable damage, the resulting price spikes could affect the cost of heating your home this winter.
The price shock could add 20 to 30 cents a gallon to the cost of home heating oil this winter as well.
And if you cook on a stove using natural gas, the price of doing so might go up as well, since 20% of the country's natural gas comes from facilities in the Gulf of Mexico. But does that mean it might be time for the U.S. to tap into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve? No word tonight from the White House, which has said before it should only be used in an emergency. Rosalind Jordan, NBC News, the White House.
As Hurricane Katrina aims for New Orleans and the Gulf Coast, it's expected to rival the most destructive storms ever to hit this country. NBC's Ron Allen tonight on tracking the fury of a hurricane.
Extremely violent winds blast away at more than 155 miles per hour.
I thought I was going to die. It was incredible.
Andrew, 1992. The storm surge rises near the height of a two-story building.
I thought the world was coming in. I thought the world was splitting open. I heard the roof come down.
Airplanes get tossed about. Boats land in the middle of the street. Category 5 storms leave everyone in their deadly path terrified.
Kids were saying, "Mommy, what happened? Why is God doing this to us?"
Only 3 ever have hit the U.S. Katrina is next.
Even if it weakens down to a Category 4, this is going to be one of the strongest hurricanes ever to hit the United States.
The strongest was the Labor Day hurricane in 1935 that swept through the Florida Keys, killing more than 400. Then came Camille in 1969.
Hurricane Camille will strike the Mississippi coast within a matter of hours.
It swamped parts of Mississippi and Louisiana. Winds so strong, the measuring instruments were destroyed. Survivors have painful memories of those lost.
A lot of them went to the church to escape the wrath of the hurricane, and the church caved in and killed 28 of them.
And southern Florida will never forget Andrew.
Daylight shows the astounding damage to some neighborhoods south of Miami.
Still America's costliest natural disaster at some $25 billion. So devastating, the name Andrew was removed from the list of hurricane names, so there won't be another Andrew again.
And as forecasters track Katrina, they're leery that, like all huge hurricanes, it's erratic, unpredictable, and could turn in a different direction at any moment.
The warnings cover a wide area.
To the east of there, you are at risk for tornadoes.
Lessons learned since America's deadliest hurricane. Galveston, 1900, a Category 4. 6,000 to 8,000 people died when warnings weren't taken seriously. A much different time than now. Those in Katrina's path know and fear what its awesome power can do. Ron Allen, NBC News, New York.
We will go back to Louisiana for an update on the hurricane a bit later, but there is other major news coming up this Sunday. In Iraq, the Constitution goes to the voters, and President Bush warns of more violence ahead. And later, a survivor story, a family saved after a devastating plane crash. NBC News in depth tonight, the new Iraqi constitution. Iraq's Shiite-led parliament today finished its work on that country's new government charter, but the draft was immediately rejected by minority Sunnis, a possible setback for the Bush administration's strategy in Iraq. We have 2 reports tonight, beginning with NBC's Preston Mendenhall.
It took Parliament 80 minutes to read the draft constitution, but there was no vote. Just a symbolic end to tortuous negotiations over Iraq's future. Final approval of the constitution is now up to the Iraqi people in an October 15th nationwide referendum.
There are differences among us, and we tried too much to reach a common solution for problems.
After months of talks and 3 missed deadlines, the constitutional process almost descended into chaos. The final draft does lack consensus, but it keeps Iraq's transition to democracy moving forward for now. Largely absent from this photo op today, Sunni Arab leaders who rejected the draft, saying it reflects only the wishes of Shiites and Kurds. Upset over Shiite plans to carve out a federal state rooted in Islam, the Sunnis could be the spoiler in the October 15th referendum. They may be able to muster enough votes in 3 of Iraq's 18 provinces to defeat the constitution. That would dissolve parliament and set the political process back to square one.
If they don't listen, what can we do?
The U.S., whose presence loomed large in negotiations, defended the draft document, which gives Islam a big role in everyday life.
What this document says about human rights, political rights, is one of the best, if not the best, in the region.
But the lack of consensus has raised the specter of more violence from the predominantly Sunni insurgency, as the country waits to see whether the draft constitution will bring Iraqis together or tear them apart. Preston Mendenhall, NBC News, Baghdad.
This is Kelly O'Donnell with the president in Crawford, Texas, where today Mr. Bush framed Iraq's fractious process through a prism of American history.
I want our folks to remember our own Constitution was not unanimously received. Some delegates at the Philadelphia Convention in 1787 refused to sign it.
The president has long tied Iraq's political advances to a reduced U.S. role. So Mr. Bush praised today's step, calling it an inspiration. But he was also careful to acknowledge Sunni discontent.
We recognize that there's a split amongst the Sunnis. Some Sunnis have expressed reservations about various provisions of the Constitution, and that's their right as free individuals living in a free society.
A more dire assessment from the ranking Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
If the Sunnis and that entire portion of the country opts out of this process, that's a formula for civil war.
The president contends that broader Sunni participation could lessen the insurgency, but for now predicted more bloodshed.
We can expect such atrocities to increase in the coming months because the enemy knows that its greatest defeat lies in the expression of free people.
To meet that violence, today a prominent Republican argued the U.S. should deploy up to another 20,000 U.S. forces.
I think we need more, and I think they need to stay longer.
With the president's position unmoved by anti-war protests near his ranch again today, the Western White House readily pointed to the new Iraqi document as a needed sign of progress. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Crawford.
NBC Nightly News continues a remarkable story of survival and a family's new life ahead. Lifeline tonight. A new study says coffee is the top source of healthy antioxidants in the American diet. Antioxidants are thought to help fight cancer and provide other benefits. They are abundant in fruits and vegetables, and the study says Americans are not eating enough of those. Another new study suggests a reason why redheads may be prone to skin cancer. Scientists say the pigment coloring the skin of redheads may put them more at risk, even if they don't show sunburn. In Lima, Peru last night, there was a bittersweet celebration for a Brooklyn, New York family happy to be alive. They are survivors of that horrifying plane crash last week in Peru. Dateline NBC's Victoria Corderi has their story.
Before a packed room full of friends and relatives in Lima, Peru, Jocelyn Vivas waltzed with her father, Jose, part of her quince, or 15th birthday, a formal rite of passage in Latino culture. The party almost didn't happen. Last Tuesday, they and 4 other members of the Brooklyn, New York family were aboard a Boeing 737 that crashed into the Peruvian jungle with 100 people on board. The party began with a moment of silence for the passengers who perished when the airliner crash landed during a fierce rain and hailstorm outside of the Amazon city of Pucallpa.
The plane started sliding. It went like a roller coaster, and we just started shifting.
There's a big ball of flame that just poofed up in the air, and you felt the heat on your face.
I thought I wasn't going to see my kids again.
Gabe says he and his brother Jose herded the family out of the plane into the thigh-deep mud, frantically trying to flee the burning wreckage along with the 53 other survivors. Then Gabe says he heard the sound of a baby crying, and he turned back. What did you see?
It wasn't a good sight. And I was just glad that the girls and my wife had rushed so much to get to high ground that they never had a chance to look back.
If they had, they would have seen a horrifying landscape of burning debris and bodies. Gabe says he found the baby boy behind the plane, picked him up, and pulled another passenger who had been trying to save the child out of the mud. He led them to safety. Back in Brooklyn, Gabe's kids got word of the harrowing story.
I felt happy because I know that he's safe. I think that he's a hero.
A hero who, along with his family, is celebrating life, knowing how narrowly they escaped death. Victoria Corderi, NBC News, Lima, Peru.
When we come back, we'll hear from Brian Williams in Louisiana with an update on the hurricane. Updating Hurricane Katrina tonight, a Category 5 storm and one of the most powerful hurricanes on record. It appears to be moving faster toward the Gulf Coast tonight and is expected to make landfall overnight. Let's go now to NBC's Brian Williams, who's on the evacuation route between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, Louisiana. He joins us on the telephone. Brian, good evening.
John, good evening to you. And the skies are already angry here. We are getting into safe position to cover this. During this week, so many Americans associate with that last chance at summer vacation. We saw the evacuation from the air. Routes are clogged. 500,000 people on the move. Upon arrival here, we saw panic buying at local stores. And then tonight, we started hearing the prediction of some of the forecasters who believe some of the hardest hit areas will be uninhabitable for days, if not weeks. They're predicting all windows will be blown out, that debris will become lethal. There is a prediction that water shortages will be key and could make for suffering we haven't seen in modern day America. These are all sobering predictions on the eve of this storm, John, but remember, this could concern what may be the fourth or fifth most powerful storm to hit the United States. John?
NBC's Brian Williams headed toward New Orleans tonight. Brian, thanks very much. NBC News will be on top of Hurricane Katrina all night with updates on this NBC station, on your late news, and on MSNBC tomorrow morning on Today as well. Brian will be reporting from New Orleans tomorrow night. I'm John Seigenthaler in New York. I'll see you next weekend, if not before.